Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're focusing on something deceptively simple. It probably lives right in the back of your pantry, but honestly, it holds the key to some incredible weeknight efficiency. Rice vermicelli. Mm-hmm. If you're constantly juggling, busy schedules, maybe managing dietary restrictions, and you're just desperately hunting for ways to cut meal prep time basically in half without falling back on boring repetition, then yeah, you're definitely in the right place.
Absolutely.
We're framing this not just as like another noodle, but maybe as the ultimate culinary secret weapon.
That's a great way to put it. Our source material today, it's this collection of guides, covers everything from quick meal prep tricks to the traditional art of Vietnamese cooking. It really zeroes in on that need for both speed and real versatility.
Right.
So our mission today, pretty direct. We're going to turn you into a vermicelli master. We'll cover what it actually is, that lightning fast prep, how to avoid those sticky, clumpy messes everyone hates.
Oh yeah, the worst.
And really unlock the kind of endless possibilities this simple staple offers.
Okay, let's unpack this right away. We've dug through guides covering, well, everything from the exact nutritional details to like the perfect water temperature you need for soaking.
Yep, the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. By the end of this deep dive, you'll get exactly why this thin, kind of unassuming strand of rice flour is such a game changer for any kitchen that needs fast, flavorful, and importantly, accommodating meals. So let's kick things off right at the beginning, the foundation. For anyone who might confuse it with, say, glass noodles or just regular pasta, what exactly is rice vermicelli?
Well, it's elegant in its simplicity, really. We're talking about extremely thin, sort of translucent strands. And they're made primarily from just rice flour and water.
That's it.
That's the entire ingredient list, which, right out of the gate gives us this massive advantage.
Yeah.
It's naturally gluten-free.
That is a huge plus, yeah. Especially with all the constraints lots of families deal with now. But, often gluten-free options can mean sacrificing texture or the price point goes way up. Do the sources say this holds up texture-wise?
It holds up remarkably well. And that's precisely because it's the original thing.
Yeah.
It's not some engineered substitute trying to be something else.
Oh, okay.
It delivers that satisfying, slightly resilient bite that works so well with fresh ingredients.
Huh?
And yeah, regarding dietary needs, that naturally gluten-free thing, it's essential for families managing sensitivities like celiac disease, which, affects roughly 1 in every 100 people globally.
Wow, yeah.
So this is a really reliable wheat-free base that honestly doesn't feel like a compromise.
And while rice vermicelli is what we usually call it in English, it sounds like you might need a bit of a cheat sheet if you're ordering it somewhere else.
You kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah, our sources clarify that depending on the region, the cuisine, you'll hear different names.
Yeah.
So in Vietnam, it's most commonly known as bun.
Bun, got it.
Right. And in broader Thai or maybe Chinese cooking, you might just see it labeled as rice sticks. But fundamentally, they all share that same thin strand, that simple makeup, and those lightning-fast cooking properties.
Okay. Before we get to flavor, let's talk numbers for a sec, because this seems like one of the cleanest bases you could possibly build a meal on. What's the nutritional profile look like, especially for people looking for that clean, low-fat foundation?
The profile is, well, it's exceptional because you're basically starting with a blank slate. Yeah. A standard 2-ounce dry serving that's about 56 grams, clocks in around 200 to 210 calories.
Okay.
You're looking at about 45 grams of carbs and, crucially, just half a gram of fat, 0.5 grams.
Wow, that low.
Yeah. It's naturally low in fat and sodium, which means, the cook has complete, granular control over the health profile and the flavor of the final dish. You decide what goes on it.
And speaking of control,
yeah,
we absolutely have to mention the budget angle here. It seems way cheaper than a lot of specialty dietary options.
Oh, it really is. It's kind of the budget hero of the gluten-free world, honestly.
Yeah.
The sources note that a typical, say, $3 package can easily give you 7 full servings.
7, okay.
Yeah. So we're talking roughly 43 cents per serving. Now, if you compare that to some specialty gluten-free pastas, which can easily top $1 per serving.
Easily.
Yeah, vermicelli is just an incredible way to stretch that grocery budget and bring in some global variety without, breaking the bank.
That flexibility, I think, ties right into its best future from a cooking standpoint.
Exactly.
It's like the ultimate blank canvas.
Precisely. That neutral, really subtle rice flavor profile is exactly why it works so well across the board. It doesn't fight with the other ingredients. It actually lifts them up. It readily absorbs marinades, rich broths, tangy dressings. The flavor doesn't just sit on the surface. It really penetrates the noodles completely, which is essential if you want to maximize the impact of, say, that tangy nucem or a really deep savory curry.
Okay, speed. This is the metric that really sells the whole vermicelli idea to me. I mean, traditional dried pasta, you got to heat up a big pot of water, bring it to a rolling boil, then cook for, 9 to 12 minutes? Minimum. We just don't always have that kind of time on a Tuesday night.
And rice vermicelli totally respects your clock.
Yeah.
We're talking, like you said, maybe 3 to 5 minutes prep time. But what's often overlooked is that you frequently don't even need a separate boiling pot just for the noodles themselves.
Okay, explain that. Because getting rid of a pot to wash, that's almost as valuable as shaving off 10 minutes of cook time.
Huh. It's true, isn't it? Well, the preparation usually just involves soaking them in very hot water, often straight from a kettle you just boiled.
This hot water?
Yeah, very hot water.
Yeah.
So that efficiency factor just cuts significant time off the whole meal prep process. It really transforms those frantic, 6:00 p.m. evenings. If your main protein, say chicken, is already cooking on the grill, these noodles can honestly be ready before the chicken's even done.
And its usefulness goes across hot and cold dishes, right? Which is huge for those of us, like me, who tried meal prep lunches. Does the texture actually hold up okay when it's cooled down and stored for a couple of days?
It absolutely does, provided, and this is key, you prep it correctly. We'll get into the specifics of that later, the real pro tips.
Okay.
But yeah, for hot dishes, you just add the prepared noodles right into your stir fry or soup or curry.
Yeah.
Basically during the last minute or two of cooking, just to heat them through.
Simple enough.
But for cold stuff, those amazing summer noodle salads or fresh spring rolls, the fact that you can prepare them ahead of time and just store them, it's a total lifesaver.
That sounds great in theory, but how far can we really push this, like its culinary boundaries? Is this mainly just suited for Southeast Asian flavors, or?
That's a really fair question. And because that base flavor is so incredibly neutral, its potential for fusion cooking is almost limitless.
Really?
Yeah, our sources show its versatility goes way beyond its traditional roots. People are successfully using rice vermicelli in like Mediterranean-inspired salads with feta and olives.
Interesting.
Or using it instead of rice in Mexican-style bowls with black beans and lime. Even some Italian-influenced dishes where maybe traditional pasta feels a bit too heavy.
Huh. Okay, I think that is the definition of a truly unifying ingredient then. You can grab the same bag of noodles every Monday night and just pivot between completely different global cuisines.
Exactly.
And it works because it's just this stable base that carries whatever flavor you give it that solves the whole what's for dinner again boredom problem.
And if we are talking rice vermicelli, we absolutely have to talk about its sort of home turf, Vietnam. This is really where the noodle shines, not just because it's fast, but because it provides that absolutely essential textural balance, the softness of the noodle playing off the crunch of fresh herbs or the richness of the protein.
Right. That contrast is key.
Vietnamese cuisine has truly perfected the art of the refreshing noodle bowl. So let's maybe dive into a couple of classics, focusing on the specific ingredients that make them so rewarding to actually make at home. We should probably start with the absolute staple, bun thịt nướng.
Okay, that translates roughly to vermicelli with grilled meat, something like that.
That's exactly right. And what makes it just transcendent is that critical contrast you mentioned.
Right.
The pork is marinated in this really powerful blend, fish sauce, sugar, garlic. Then it's grilled until those edges get deeply caramelized, a little chewy. And then that warm, deeply savory meat is placed right over those cool, refreshing vermicelli noodles.
It really is all about the temperature and the flavor dynamics playing off each other.
Absolutely. And the whole experience is completed by adding crunchy things like shredded lettuce, pickled carrots, and then the final essential touch. A really generous pour of nuoc chum, that signature tangy, sweet, savory fish sauce dressing. It's just a complete textural and flavor party in one bowl.
Okay, moving from hot dishes to maybe the ultimate no-cook option, gai kun or fresh spring rolls. I love that the sources frame this more as like a fun, customizable family activity instead of some complicated recipe.
It really is. The assembly is actually pretty simple. You take the dampened rice paper, fill it with a vermicelli, usually some cooked shrimp, maybe a thin slice of pork, plenty of lettuce, and fresh herbs like mint or cilantro.
Right.
Not only is the process itself engaging, no cooking needed for the assembly part, and it's also incredibly light, usually clocks in at only like 100 to 150 calories per roll before you add dipping sauce. Perfect for hot weather.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. Maybe bun cha. This is that famous Hanoi specialty, right? The one that got that huge boost in global fame and kind of culinary validation.
That's the one. That dish carries some history. Bun chai is different mainly because of how the meat is prepared. You have these rich grilled pork patties and also tender slices of pork belly.
Oh, okay. Both.
Often both, yeah. And crucially, these aren't served on the noodles. They're presented separately, swimming in this light, warm fish sauce broth that's meant for dipping. So you take your noodles and herbs, dip them into that warm, flavorful broth right before you eat each bite.
And that global recognition you mentioned.
That really blew up back in 2016. It was when Anthony Bourdain famously shared a bowl of bun cha with then-President Barack Obama, right there in a small Hanoi restaurant.
I remember seeing pictures of that.
Yeah. It just proved that this foundational cuisine isn't just, delicious street food. It's a globally significant culinary architecture.
It's pretty amazing how a simple bowl of noodles can carry that much cultural weight, that much influence. That kind of validation really underlines its role, not just as fast food, but as authentic, foundational flavor. This isn't just about speed, it's about a real connection.
And, tying that back to practicality for you, the listener, that ability to customize, the advice in the guides about setting up a build-your-own noodle salad bar using cooked and cooled vermicelli, that's brilliant, especially for families with picky eaters.
How does that work in practice? What does that look like?
Well, it basically solves the veto problem, right?
Yeah.
You cook and chill the vermicelli base ahead of time. Easy enough. Then you just lay out all these different customizable bits, maybe a few different grilled proteins, chicken, steak, tofu perhaps, contrasting veggies like shredded carrots, cucumbers, bell peppers, and then multiple toppings. Crushed peanuts, crispy fried shallots, different herbs. Everyone gets to build their own perfect bowl exactly how they like it, while you, the cook, only really made one base ingredient. Super efficient. Okay,
we've covered the why and the what. Now for the absolutely crucial how. Because let's be honest, I think everyone listening has probably ended up with a dense, sticky, clumpy brick of rice noodles at least once.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there.
So what is the single biggest preparation mistake the sources point to?
The biggest mistake is usually treating it exactly like you'd treat regular wheat pasta. You absolutely must match the cooking method to the final dish you want. This distinction, this is the real aha moment for most home cooks, because the process is completely different depending on whether you want those noodles hot or cold in the end.
Okay, so break that down. If I'm making a hot dish, say putting them into a soup or stir fry at the end, what's the method then?
For hot dishes, you need to use a very brief boil. We're talking just 2 to 4 minutes. And critically, only add them when the main dish is nearly complete.
Right at the end.
Exactly. This gives you tender noodles that integrate nicely, and importantly, don't overcook in the hot liquid or sauce. But for cold dishes like those salads, the fresh rolls, or that noodle salad bar we talked about, you soak them instead in very hot water for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. No boiling.
And what temperature water are we talking about for that soak to get that perfect, slightly chewy, resilient texture? Not mushy.
You want it very hot, yeah, but definitely not that violent, aggressive rolling boil you use for spaghetti. Aim for water that's around 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 82 to 88 Celsius.
Okay.
Soaking in water that's that hot achieves a really nice al dente texture that holds up much better when it cools down. It prevents that dreaded mushiness.
Okay, we've cooked or soaked them using the right method now. The absolute non-negotiable step, the one to prevent that horrible clumping and sticking together. This is the crucial science bit, right?
This is the essential cold rinse.
Yeah.
You absolutely must immediately after draining the noodles, rinse them vigorously under cold running water for at least 30 seconds.
30 seconds minimum.
Yes. This is critical because it does 2 vital things at the same time. First, it washes away all that excess surface starch, that's the stuff that causes the clumping. And second, it instantly stops the cooking process dead in its tracks. It drops the internal temperature by well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit almost instantly.
So that sudden temperature shock just locks in the texture right where you want it. Okay, now, what if we're meal prepping? Storing these beautiful, newly non-sticky noodles, we need them to stay separated in the fridge for a few days.
Right. And they store really well. Up to 3 days, refrigerated, just keep them in an airtight container. But here's the real pro storage tip from the sources before you put them away. Toss the cooked and rinsed noodles with just 1 teaspoon of neutral oil.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, just a teaspoon. Something like canola or avocado oil. This creates this thin kind of protective barrier around each strand, helps prevent sticking. It ensures they're super easy to separate when you pull them out of the fridge maybe 2 or 3 days later.
Smart. Okay, and one last quick tip for those refrigerated leftovers.
Hmm.
If I pull cold noodles out of the container and I want to put them into, say, a hot soup, I shouldn't just dump them in cold, should I? That sounds wrong.
No, definitely not. You'll kind of shock the whole dish, lower the temp, and you'll unevenly heat the noodles. Bad idea. So if you are adding refrigerated noodles to a hot dish, just briefly dip them in a bowl of freshly heated hot water, not boiling, just hot for maybe 15 to 20 seconds.
Okay, like a quick warm-up.
Exactly. It just gently brings them back up towards serving temperature without causing them to overcook when they actually hit the hot environment of the stir fry or the soup. Honestly, mastering these few little techniques, it truly transforms your vermicelli game from, inconsistent results to basically professional quality every single time.
Yeah.
Hashtag, tag, outro.
So, okay, what does all this mean for your kitchen right now? Rice vermicelli really seems to be your answer for speed, for dietary needs, and definitely for affordability. It preps in, 5 minutes, it's naturally gluten-free, and most importantly, that simple secret to perfect texture every single time is that crucial cold water rinse.
Don't forget the rinse.
Never forget the rinse. This really affordable staple can transform pretty complex global cuisine into achievable, dynamic weeknight meals.
And if we connect this right back to your needs, listening at home, rice vermicelli truly functions as a unifying ingredient. It so easily accommodates multiple dietary needs, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, low sodium, all within the structure of the exact same meal.
That's huge.
It is. You can serve the exact same base preparation to a whole table full of different preferences just by adjusting the protein, maybe the herbs, the dipping sauces, that kind of efficiency. It's pretty priceless on a busy week.
It really is empowering knowledge to have. Okay, now for your final thoughts, something to carry forward. You've now basically mastered the techniques. We've laid it all out.
Right.
So consider how this really simple, super affordable staple can be the basis for you to start breaking down some culinary boundaries right in your own kitchen. You've nailed bun thịt nướng, maybe? Okay, great. Next week, try moving seamlessly from that traditional Vietnamese dish to something completely different. Maybe a spicy Thai-inspired bowl, or even like a citrusy Mexican-style noodle bowl.
Yep.
All using the exact same bag of perfectly textured rice vermicelli you now know how to cook. The canvas is ready, really, for whatever flavor you feel like painting on it next.